Morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome to Boris's latest coffee morning. This is our second coffee morning, would you believe it? Can't quite believe we're at our second one already. Apologies, we've had a few technical problems this morning, just setting YouTube up. We have forwarded out a new link literally minutes ago, and I can see that a number of you have already managed to connect on that. So well done, thank you very much. I'm just going to waffle for a couple of minutes just while we wait and allow those other people who were probably sat watching the previous link that we sent out. So we'll make some changes to how we're transmitting this over the next 6 weeks, and as we enter into our first one in 2021, we'll make sure that we got the link out to you in advance.
Definitely. I hope everyone's started to order their coffees and got the coffees ready, because we've got ours ready, and hopefully we'll take you from some new topics which will excite you all regarding the Boris system.
Great. So we've got about half of the planned watchers or attendees on this morning already. So if we can just give it a couple more minutes just as we allow everybody to come in. For those of you that are on already, I'm just going to go through the format that we're going to follow today. If you were part of the first Boris Breakfast Club, you'll be aware that the format was that we spent an hour with you in the morning talking through different roadmap developments. Within that hour, we were able to take some questions that were posed through both the chat on YouTube, but also through emails that were coming into us. Happy to take all of the same questions again today. We have planned some time for some questions. We've also got a couple of questions that were sent in to us previously by some of our clients. So we will be answering those as well. Any questions, fire them into chat or drop us a quick email.
Great stuff, lovely.
Okay.
So I believe, James, you want to start on the clock cards and timesheet, and then we'll move on to the other topics from there.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so just as a reminder for today, I've put up the agenda items up on the screen there. So today, what we're going to be focusing on is we're going to be focusing on best practice and sharing some of the tips and tricks that some of our other clients go through with our system, and hopefully it's going to be beneficial to you. So first thing we're going to talk about is clocking in and out. And we're going to look at timesheets, so the output of that clocking in and out. We're then going to move into vehicle and man tracking, and we're going to finish off today's session with a section on compliance. So just a general little bit of housekeeping before we start. I think I've already mentioned a big thank you from us, really, just to say thank you for supporting us on our first coffee morning, and thanks again for your support on the second one. After such a fantastic session last time round and the feedback that we received, we've now decided that we're going to proceed with the Boris coffee morning every 6 weeks. And what we've decided that we're going to do is, over the Christmas period, we are going to prepare a full agenda for 2021. We're going to create the time slots, the diary bookings, and we will roll that out to you in the beginning or in the new year of 2021. So you will have that available for your diary for the rest of the year. Now, topics are going to be flexible for these sessions, and we really appreciate your input here. We want to focus initially on making sure that we show off the new roadmap features, and we may have some more teasers at the end of the session today or updates, but we want to continue with that. The feedback that we got from the first session was absolutely excellent in terms of those new roadmap features, and in fact we had to go away and rapidly create a rollout schedule for all of you that were hoping to be able to get those new developments into your system as soon as possible. And some of you will have experienced that already, and some of you are queued up to go through at the end of November and the beginning of December. We're also going to spend time going through sessions like this, where we work on best practice and we share some of the tips and tricks that some of our other clients are doing within their system. And we're also going to be answering your questions. So the format's going to remain like this, as we say, running through YouTube. We will be encouraging questions through our chat functionality, and I can see we've got some of you messaging us in this morning. Andrew, I see you've got your coffee in hand, so that's fantastic. So we can see those comments coming in, so if you want to add anything on there, if you want to ask us a question, please feel free to do so. Predominantly though, we want to get your feedback at the end of this session, and we'll be circulating the feedback form like we did last time, where we'll be asking you feedback on both today, but also asking for your feedback in terms of building up the content as we move forward and making sure that we show you in these sessions what you guys want to see. Shatu, anything else to add to that before we go any further?
All good to go.
Great. Okay, so without further ado then, let's launch into our first session, which is going to be about clocking in and clocking out. So clocking in and out is a feature that we've had in Boris for many years, and I suppose it's a bit of a mixed bag out there. Some of you are using clocking in and out, and some of you aren't using clocking in and out. So I think we've made that point there up at the top, which is that our clients typically look for a solution that will work alongside their work instructions and provide them with auditability. However, this process is only half completed by our clients. So I think what we're great at is sometimes creating the clock cards, actually then turning that into usable data that we can insert into our payment platforms is the bit that maybe catches us out. So that's what we're going to go through today. So we can offer the ability for clocking in and out remotely, and we can also output this in a variety of forms for ingestion into different types of platforms. We can save our client-based field teams and office teams many hours by doing this, and some of the conversations I've had with you as I've been coming out and meeting with you is exactly in and around this, is how do we take away some of the human error that's caused by double keying that information from the timesheet across into the payment platform. And also, how do we just save your guys time? Never mind the accuracy, it's about time as well. So we'll walk you through that process today and just show you how that is done. Before we start with building up this process, there's always a few questions that I'd like to ask our clients. The first question that I'd usually ask relates to the booking, and that's, are we looking to book as an individual? So are we looking to create a job for the individual operative, or are we looking to transmit this down as a group? And we're going to then tackle both sides of that question within the demo system in a moment. And then, are we looking to send the clock report to the device for a location or a project? With regards to teams, some questions that need to be discussed or thought about. We're potentially implementing a clocking in system here, which is going to be changed to your teams. And again, we need to address that head on. This could be deemed as a negative issue. So something we do need to think about when we're creating our clocking in and out system. This is going to save your team time and make them more efficient. So we do have to go back and focus on that with your teams. And do we make it dependent on opening up the job pack? So in the same way that some of us have introduced RAM sign-offs, start of day processes, are we going to make that clock in dependent on opening up that job pack, or are we going to have it independently, and are we going to say to our guys that if you fail to clock in, you'll fail to be paid? Both scenarios could be approached within the Boris system, and we're going to talk about that again today. Finally, what do we want to do with the output? What do you want to use the information for? What systems do you use, and how can we then customize that output to best suit you? So, slight movement now across over to our demo system where we're going to start to discuss each of those points. Sorry, a little bit of technical issues just as I was moving across over to the demo system, and I'll give that a couple of minutes just to connect itself up. We use OBS, which you'll have just seen up on the screen. That has now, according to our YouTube channel, moved across, and we can now see the demo system. So for those of you that work with Boris on a day-to-day basis, and I'd like to think that that's the majority of you, you will recognise this screen, and this is the new dashboard that we showed you last time, which is currently being rolled out into your systems. So we said we were going to talk first of all about booking a job, and we were going to talk about booking that job to the individual or to a group of individuals. So again, your system may be set up slightly differently with the different menu items. For us, we have to go into the jobs menu up at the top, and we head down to our planner. You'll see here that contained within this planner, we have a number of our team contained within here, and a blank planner sheet. So the first thing that I've got to do is actually set my default job type, and I need to set it up as a clock card in this particular scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a job within the planner for a clock card, and I'm going to transmit it down to the device. But I'm going to do this as an individual first of all. So I'm going to create this just for James Squires, for myself, and for today. So I'm going to click on James Squires. Obviously we have the job details up in the left hand corner. We know that we have our user detail. We have that handy drop down list from the list that's been inserted into the system. And we're going to select James Squires. Within there, we're then going to click Save. What we're also going to do, just because we're going to be using Shatu's demo system today, is I'm going to actually create Shatu a job as well. But I did promise you that what I was going to do is I was going to show you how we could create this in a speedy manner for a group. And you'll see that underneath Shatu there, we have a drop-down menu entitled Group. Now this does exactly what it says on the tin. If we select the drop-down list, you'll see all the different groups that we have in this system today. What I want to do in this particular scenario is I'm going to select everyone on this particular planner, because these, in this particular scenario, are actually my operatives, but I want to select this everybody on the planner. So you'll see that I've created the user as Shatu for the clock card, but I've also said that in the group I want to put everyone a clock card for this particular planner group. Now when I click Save here, you should see that it will now create a clock card for everybody within that particular group, and the group being the planning group or the planner group. Now you can obviously set up your groups to suit you. You can have operatives, you can have admin teams, and you can create these groups which will allow you to be able to multi-action functions within Boris, make things a little bit more speedy for you. So now that we've created those jobs, what we're going to do is we're going to navigate our way now across over onto the device. And I'm just going to hopefully navigate my way across over to TeamViewer. Just going to double check that on YouTube that it's arrived. Don't seem to have jumped across onto TeamViewer. I'm just going to give it one more moment while it just connects up onto TeamViewer. And there we go, we finally have it up on YouTube on the screen. Apologies for that, it's reasonably difficult. We're always fighting this delay. What I'm going to do is, because this is our demo system, I'm just going to receive updates. That's going to pull down the different jobs to us. As we said on our last Boris Breakfast Club, where we were talking about new roadmap features, we can actually turn receive updates on as an automatic update for you now if you log in. So again, if anyone's interested in that feature, please let us know, and we will look to get the tech team to put that into your system for you. Again, it's probably worth just noting, you will have a different looking app than our own. This is a demo system, so it contains many different features within here, some that you will have and some that you don't. If you see anything within this demo system that you'd like to talk to us about further, please include it on the feedback sheet, and we'll be happy to go through that with you. So anyway, I'm just going to head into the clock cards element here, and I'm going to open that one up, and you'll see that I have a number of different clock cards sent down to me on Shatu's device. I'm going to open one up. Within there, then, that's going to pull up my job, and I'm going to start my day. I can add any comments in that I want to add in here. This form is set up to suit you. It's completely customizable. We've kept it very simple. We've put an auto population of the date field in there first, so it's automatically picked up that it's the 26th of the 11th. We've added a comments box, and we've also put a GPS scan against this as well, so we've got the location recorded and indicated down at the bottom. I've started my day, and I'm just going to give that a minute just to tick by, because I'm also going to finish my day while I'm in the form here as well today. So I'm probably just going to write a couple of comments just to put in that I am testing the system here for the Boris Breakfast Club. And I'm just going to put test A so that I know that it was test. And I've clicked finish to finish off my day.
You've had a very long day, James.
I've had a very long day there, haven't I? Yeah, so great. And I'm going to save my changes as I come out. And we'll go back to our main screen. Okay, so that was the first way. Now, before we jump into the back and we start to look at the output timesheets, what I thought we'd just do while we were here is we would share a few ideas, or an idea that's come to us from one of our other clients. So obviously we have the existing clock card system contained within there. Typically, if you think about your operative's journey in a morning, what would they do when they log on to this system? Well, they'll log in and they would typically want to jump straight into scheduled work. Obviously, we wanting to try to highlight the clock card to them, and hence why we have the number of updates in that red number there to say that we've got 4 in there. What we can do, though, is we can look to introduce the clock card into your start of day process. So while I'm here, I'm just actually going to show you what that may look like, and I'm just going to jump into another form while I'm here. I could send this down on the planner to myself, but I'm not going to do, just for speed this morning. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to select us as the customer, with the location being head office, and I'm going to select a form called AMS and sign in. So the AMS and sign in, for those of you that had guessed it already, the AMS stands for accept method statement, and the sign in is obviously our sign in and clocking in section. So this form is an adaptation of something that we've used a number of times. Just gives us the ability to be able to create the start of day process and add in here anything that you want. So some of you may choose to use training in here, some of you may insert risk assessments for sign off, obviously the method statements for sign off. There's all sorts we can do within this section. But the key to this is being able to introduce that clocking in and clocking out stage for them. So I'm just going to run through this, and I'm going to just confirm the different elements in here as we usually do, and I'm just going to finish off my day. Now, Again, I'm just going to navigate back across over to our demo system, if you just give me one moment. It's picking up my device. Apologies for that, we're just waiting for YouTube to click over. And very slowly it appears to be clicking over. It has, fantastic. Okay, so again, please feel free to send in any questions with regards to the process, but you'll see that what we've been doing up until now is firstly we booked the job on the planner, the clocking cards. And then what we did is we also booked that to the entire group of people on the planner. That we then moved across over onto the app, and we firstly completed the clocking card in the usual way, and then we went into other forms and completed an AMS and clock-in process. We're now back over in the demo system, and what I want to do is I want to jump across over into reports, and I'm going to look at all reports. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at the clocking card that we completed in our first example here. So this is the typical way that most of you are doing it, and you'll see here in the same way that all of your reports are created, you have the information in the top left hand corner that confirms the customer, the location, the form date, the status for that, who it was completed by. We also have that summary information over at the right hand side that gives us those time and date stamps against the sheets that or the forms that we've completed. And then we have the details behind that. So we have the date it was completed, when we started the form, any comments that we include, and if you remember we put test day into there, what time we finished, and as Shatu rightly pointed out to me, it was a minute day, it was a very long day for me, and you've got the location details as well, which when I click on that it takes me to my mapping solution and shows you where I am in the world. So that's the first way that we can do things. Obviously, we then completed an AMS and sign-in sheet as well. So I just want to show you typically how we could produce these outputs that can fit Sage or another platform. So let's go and have a look at our work summary. And let's have a look at what we did, let's say last month. And you'll see here that what we have is we have a screen that shows each of the different operatives, the location they were based, the times that they were working, and then that calculated out within day rates and costings. And then we have these handy buttons down here at the bottom that allow us to be able to export out in a format that will suit your payment platform. And you'll see there hopefully up on the screen that we have then created an output form there. There we go, that's just arrived up on the screen for you. So I've just checked YouTube and I can see it's there. Now, it's worth noting, and we have had a question already in advance, we haven't got much time, we're going to have to move on, but we had a question when we advertised this particular topic, being one of the key topics we're going to talk about today, and said, actually, can we only integrate with Sage? Well, actually, the answer to that is no. We can integrate with the vast majority of payment platforms that exist out there, and we can customize these output reports to suit your requirements completely. So if you have a challenge for us, if you have a payment platform that you'd like us to try to integrate to, please don't hesitate to drop it onto the feedback form, and we will do our best to come back to you with a technical understanding and knowledge of how we're going to deliver that for you. Okay, that was rather a long session this morning. We're now going to move across into vehicle and man tracking. We'll just jump across back on the cameras and come away from this. There we go. My technical ability is there this morning, so we're back on the screen. Shatu, can I hand over to yourself then to pick up vehicle and man tracking, please?
Thank you very much for that, James. I hope you've all enjoyed what we've gone through so far. So what we're hoping to go through on our next topic is basically discussing what the queries that our clients are having at the moment is. The main kind of queries is, where is my company vehicle? Where are my operatives at time of being on a job? So what I'm hoping to take you through today is our vehicle and man tracking system. So what the capabilities are for the vehicle and man tracking is, we want to be able to provide our clients a system where you can manage your fleets, record driving times and fuel costings, plan routes and review, man tracking, so lone working, geofencing around the areas that they're in, tracking, monitoring the work, but also monitoring the productivity. Are they on site? What time did they arrive on site? And we can also create the custom outputs. And what the great part is on everything that we've just covered is we're able to validate the location details of where these operatives are at time of going on site. So what we'll be doing now is I'll be sharing my screen with you, which will be our vehicle and man tracking screen. So that should come up slowly. We can see from the YouTube screen that will be sharing with you in a couple of moments. So what we can currently see is our vehicle tracking system, but also at the same time your operative system as well. So if we can see on the left hand side is we'll have a list of devices. So when we say devices, these are basically devices that will be either attached to a vehicle dashboard, which I will show you shortly what the devices look like, and also any devices that you've been tracking through a mobile phone. So simply, if we go onto the map, as you can see here, it is as wide as you require it to be, but once we zoom in, it gives us some more detailed information. So as you can see, we can already see one vehicle at the bottom with the vehicle registration of SC18, and then also the Boris IT car. So if we first zoom in further, we can then see some geofences. So what these geofences are is, we've set these geofences up for it to be able to give us notifications when operatives or vehicles can zoom, either enter these geofences or exit this geofence. So we've got a couple of options here. So initially we have the polygon lines where you can draw around an area that you wish to get notifications from. We then have the circle round geofence where you're able to, again, put a geofence around, either an area or even such as a city if you require to get an update when this vehicle is arrived in a certain location. If we then go further to the left, we can see one where it's quite drawn a decent, neat line around a building. We've managed to obviously add this option in because we've had our clients coming back to us and saying, well, my customer's ringing me asking me, where is your operatives? Your operatives are not on site. What this then gives the ability to our clients to view is when they get the notifications to say, your operatives have entered these geofences, they're then able to update their customer to say, our operatives are on site. They're either in the back of the building, the front of the building. So it's great to be able to update your clients. But also, if you've got loan work, you know exactly where your operatives are. You will be able to track and monitor if they have moved from a certain location and if your operatives are safe on site. Then moving on to traffic and if there is traffic or there isn't traffic. So what we can see on the screen is we have some green lines and some red lines. This is where it shows you, and also actually amber, what this shows you is the traffic or is there no traffic. So again, from planning your routes with your operatives when they're going on site, you can have a quick view of the map and you'll be able to see, which routes are best to take, or if your operatives need to give you an update, they no longer need to ring you to let you know they're going to be delayed. You can see it from the map. What we can also do on the vehicle and man tracking, if I click on a specific device, what this device will give me is the exact location of where that device is at. So if I click on this one, on the Boris IT car, if I scroll further down on the left hand side and click show address, you're able to view their exact location of where they are. So as you can see, the Boris IT car is on Park Street, Leeds, and it gives you their speed of driving as well and their distance. However, if you have a group of cars, you want to be able to view, where these cars have been and where they may have been for the last week, the last month, or even for the last day. So what I'll be showing you now is where we can pick a route. We then configure and pick a device. You can pick more than one device. I'm just going to pick our Boris IT car and then the period, and I'll pick, this week. As soon as you click show reports, it will then give us a history against that vehicle. But what's also great, it gives you the time. It also gives you the speed of the vehicle, as we can see. At any point, as you can see, that's actually great. As we speak, the Boris IT car is actually moving. So that's really great from being able to show the capabilities of the system. So you can actually report on live, see where those vehicles are going. Until that Boris IT car moves again, if we click on show address at any point of the addresses on the right hand side, we're able to view exactly where that vehicle was because it gives us an arrow of exactly where the vehicle was at that time. So I believe it was 16 minutes past 8. So this is from a report point of view. However, if there's a meeting that's been required to be held because you want to take one of your operatives through, a comment that your client has made or a certain route they've taken, you don't have to show your operative this system. What we can do is we can export out on the export button and show them the export version of the vehicle and man tracking. So what we can see here is your Excel document, which should shortly come up as I can see from the YouTube link. And what we can see here is quite a lot of numbers and details, but it gives us the address and the time and the speed you were driving at. If you want to obviously go into more detail with one of your operatives, you can click on any of the points of the addresses depending on the time you would like to view. As soon as you click on that link, this will be able to take you to Bing Maps. So what's great about this, it's not going to take you back to your, our vehicle tracking system for data protection and GDPR for all your other operatives, feeling safe that none of them will have access to each other's locations, etc. So if we go back onto the main vehicle tracking screen, to give you a bit of an explanation, what is the difference between the man tracking and the vehicle tracking? So the vehicle tracking, as explained, there will be a device which you'll be able to attach to your vehicle dashboard. However, the man tracking works differently. So you will be able to download an app on your mobile phone where the operatives, there's two apps where the operatives can see the app or not see the app. That's down to you as a business, which option you would like to pick to be able to add the man tracking. This will pick up the GPS location of the app and you will be able to get an update on the last, it was updated. As you can see on the left hand side, it'll say last updated. We have had the questions around prior to the demonstration of the vehicle tracking is, well, what happens if my operatives turn off their mobile phone? I'm not going to be able to track them. Well, what happens if an operative takes out a device from the dashboard of the vehicle? Well, what you'll have is, as you can see on the left hand side, it's green to let you know it's online. As soon as a device will go off, or as soon as a device has been pulled off a dashboard from the wiring, it will then move to offline and it will tell you when it was last updated. As we can see, the aim to get out of the vehicle and the man tracking, as explained, is the productivity. understanding how much time has been spent on driving, on travelling to locations, but also to understand, for you to get the notifications of the updates. There's two ways you can get the notifications of your devices and where they are. The initial one is through your events screen on the right hand side, where you'll get a notification when they're entering and exiting a geofence, or even an email notification. So for example, if I've got a fleet of vehicles that I'm viewing, 10 vehicles, however, James has also got another 10 vehicles he needs to view, we'll be able to set up groups where James can view his 10 vehicles and I can view my set of 10 vehicles as part of my team. I hope I've given you as much information as we can on the vehicle tracking system. However, if you are interested in further information, we are happy to go through any questions or further demonstrations if you wish after the coffee morning, but we'll also include a feedback part on what you would like further on this vehicle tracking system. Thank you very much, James. I think so far we've gone through, a good couple of features that we believe as our customers will benefit from using on the system. What we're hoping to now move on to, myself and James, is we want to move on to a different subject that we believe any business could have benefit from on the Boris system within any industry that you are in.
Just before we do, I'm actually just going to steal a couple of minutes and just answer some of these questions, if you don't mind, that are coming in, because we've got quite a number of questions. The first one that we've got from Alan: can a weekly summary be done for each employee on multiple jobs? Alan, yes, that is the case. It can be done. So, a great question, and we will try to make a note of that, Alan, and just feed back with some information after the session, just to provide a bit more detail there to that weekly summary. We've also got a question that's come in via email regarding vehicle tracking, so thank you very much for that. It was good to see that the Boris IT car wasn't speeding. It seems that traffic in Leeds city centre is probably not as lockdown traffic should be, probably, but Boris Johnson would, I think, be having a little bit concerned there, but great to see. So how long, so the question that's come in, Shatu, is if we were to go ahead with vehicle tracking, how long does it take to build and hand over? So what's the time scale in building a vehicle tracking system?
Great, thank you very much, James. So the kind of timescale we have set is it will ideally take about 2 to 3 weeks to be able to hand over your vehicle and man tracking. So when we say hand over, it will be a feature that we will add into your system. We will also train and show you how to use this system. So ideally what we've agreed with our technical team from previous installs is that it will take 2 to 3 weeks. However, it will depend on first come, first serve.
Okay. I suppose the big question, is there a charge to it?
Yes, there is a charge. We will include this as part of our feedback form. So if you are interested in either the vehicle or the man tracking, we will add a part in on the feedback form where you'll be able to let us know if you're interested, and we will be able to send you a formal quotation on the cost and take you through it. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, do we have a device with us that we could actually just...
We do indeed. So, as explained on the demonstration, the man tracking is just an app that we will download onto the mobile phones. So it will be on your phone like any other app. However, for your vehicle tracking, this is the device that we will be using to connect to your dashboard of your vehicle. I believe it will shortly come up on YouTube to show you how this device will look. So this is a simple device. You will get some wiring as well with it to be able to attach to your dashboard. We do not get involved within the installations of this device. However, we can discuss what the best plan is to get these installed. Thank you, James.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much for that, Shatu.
No worries.
Moving along then into our final section, which we're going to be discussing compliance. If you could just make sure that we've got YouTube up on the screen, so we can just see where we are and we can navigate our way through. So compliance is a big section. And I suppose, how do we tackle compliance and try to cover that in a session for you this morning? Well, I'll just navigate back over to our PowerPoint slide and just sort of summarise, what are we talking about when we're talking about compliance? So, Boris is not just a system that will facilitate work instructions, clocking in sheets for you. It will do so much more. The ability to be able to customize forms within the system gives us the ability to really push the boundaries of what we can retain, store and collect within the Boris system. So some of our clients, as an example, use the system for health and safety. And they ensure that all of their health and safety forms are completed through the Boris system. RAMs we've already talked about today, and a lot of our clients are currently using RAMs or method statements, sign-offs within the system. We also have clients using vehicle audits, and I'd like to go through that with you today at some point as well, and just show you the vehicle audit solutions that we can provide to you. Same with toolbox talks or training. Both of those can be completed within the Boris system, alongside GDPR statements, that favourite data protection legislation of all of ours. We can mitigate that, and we can make sure that you're fully compliant within the system. We also have clients who use the Boris system for all of their new starter inductions, and we're going to take that topic as our first topic as we move into compliance, and we're going to talk about induction techniques, induction forms, etc. We're going to include within there health questionnaires and other initial starting documentation requirements. And of course, that old favourite, COVID-19, how could we not tackle this within our compliance section today? Not only our clients, us ourselves use Boris for a number of these forms, including our vehicle audits on the IT car, but also for our COVID-19 daily checks. As we arrive into the office, we have to do some temperature checks, and we record these directly into Boris for our records and to protect our teams that have come into the office on that particular day. So without further ado, we're going to jump over back into the demo system to start ourselves off. And I've clicked the button on OBS, and I'm just going to give that a couple of seconds just to change over on the YouTube channel. And hopefully then you will see that has now come up on the screen, and you'll see that we are into our demo system, and you'll see that within here we actually have a subsection menu called compliance, and this is the topics we're going to be talking through today. So anything that takes or is of interest to you, again, add it to the feedback form, and we will make sure that we pick up conversations with you about it. So in here we have inductions, and we've broken that down into a sub-menu of inductions, Boris usage policy, Boris personal details and health records, COVID-19, vehicle audits, health and safety, and GDPR. So let's initially talk about inductions. And I'm just going to sync up. TeamViewer has just disconnected our mobile device. So we're just going to now jump across over to the mobile device. And if we just give YouTube 2 seconds just to catch up with us, you'll see that we're now into our mobile device, and we're just waiting for the app to show on the screen. There we go. There we go. Thank you, YouTube. Caught up with us. So, Shatu, can I ask you to just walk us through the induction forms or ideas that some of our clients have given us over over 2020?
Great stuff. Thank you very much, James. So what we've got here is we've got a dummy customer and location and a set of forms that we would like to complete and show you the inductions. So like we said, we do have a couple of templates, but initially we'll start off with the inductions. So what we have here is a Boris staff induction, which our clients have helped us with their ideas to be put together. Ideally, we'd like clients to use the staff induction when you're getting a new member of staff on to join your team, and it gives you the ability to monitor the information, so any details that you need to track and monitor against your operative. These can be their roles, their health and safety, any training that they have, any health risks, any accident reporting, communications, and such as HR information that's required, such as their P45 and any documents that they need to provide to you as a company. So the operatives, as you can see, there's a list of questions that are on there. They can complete this on their device. They can then go off to their comments box to put who was the manager that completed this induction with and who the employee was. We can then go to the sign-off page where your employee and the manager who has completed the induction will be able to sign off to say this has been completed. This will then automatically fall into the back office, which we will shortly show you how this will report back for you to have in your admin system. We then have the Boris usage policy. So we've got a Boris usage policy because a couple of our clients have come back to us and said, we would like all of our new starters to sign off a document to say, we want you to use Boris. The reason for this being if clients have had the query where they've brought operatives onto the business to be able to use a system like Boris, however, they've then gone and took notes on a piece of paper. You can add in a policy into your system where your operatives will be able to read and sign off, where they'll pick their name to say, I've understood the policy and I will moving forward use the system to record my work. The reason we would like clients to do this is to be sure that no documents that you require that you need to feed back to your clients will be missed off your system. Okay. Another great point that we've got on here is within any business and industry, when you start a new role within a business, you will be able to, track and monitor the information of personal details and health records onto the system. Okay, so what you'll be able to then do is do the name, date of birth, address, next of kin, any personal questions that you might have within the health records that you would like your operatives to complete. Yes, we have this list of questions on here. However, we will be able to change these questions depending on the information you want to capture. Okay. We can then go to the sign off page again and sign off to say, we have gone through this set of questions and we've provided the information for future incidents. Okay. So this is part of the inductions. However, this is just a couple of processes that we know our clients, follow. So you as a company, if you have different induction processes, feel free to feed back to us and we will come up with an idea together to be able to add it into your system. So we'll digitize your induction process and it'll be stress-free.
Shatu, before we jump across back over to the demo system, so we don't give everyone sort of dizziness jumping backwards and forwards between the different, between the app and the demo system, could you just walk us through or just explain to us what we could also do with COVID-19 in these front forms and also what we can do with vehicle audits? Once you've gone through those, what we'll do is we'll jump across back over to the demo system and we'll review some of those audits that reports that we've completed over the past few days.
Great. Yeah, 100%. So if I go back to our list of forms, as we can see, we've got a good couple of forms. So let's go into our daily COVID form. So as James explained, as a business, if any of our members will be coming into the office, we will be wanting them to take the temperatures to make sure all our members of staff are safe to be in the office. So we've created a very simple COVID form, which you'll be able to pick the date and the time. And then also if you've got a thermometer, you'll be able to take your temperature and then write your temperature into the text box. So I'll put 36.2. However, we've left a note in there. So if we're an operative or a member of staff, temperatures higher than 37.8, we would, we've put on there, please go home and isolate. So this depends on, what exactly of the message you would require. We then obviously have a couple of questions is, have you got a dry persistent cough? If we go to no, it does, we have had the question, why is it green rather than red if it's a no? because if that member of staff hasn't got a cough, that's great news, they're COVID free. If we then go to say yes, it will change the process of that template. It will request you to go home and self-isolate, and the icon will turn red because obviously there's a health matter there. However, I'm going to stick to saying no, and then again, the same thing for have you lost sense of taste. As soon as you have saved this, we will then be able to move back into our other forms. So as we can see, we've got a couple of other forms in here as well. We will be moving into the vehicle audit. So we believe the vehicle audit is quite a large part of your compliance, as I believe quite a lot of our clients have a set of vehicles who would be required to check up on a daily or weekly basis to understand how these vehicles are getting on. Very detailed form. However, again, if you would like it, more detailed or made, basic, we can obviously go through these details with you. As you can see on the form, you can put in your vehicle registration, you can put your mileage, you can have, is your vehicle safe or not safe? So if I go to yes, all my tabs at the top will not open up. So when the tabs don't open up, apologies, I believe there was just a bit of a lag in our screen share, and we're resharing our phone screen with you. We'll just give it 1 second for it to come back up on the screen.
Apologies, Chateau.
No worries. I believe that should come up any minute.
Our OBS keys aren't working, so I'm having to do it manually at the moment, Chateau. So it will now come up on the screen. Give us 1 moment.
Lovely. Thank you very much for that, James. So as we can see, the further tabs are not open, and however, if we then go and tell this template the vehicle is not safe, what this will then do, it will give us the option where our other tabs will open up because there is a problem. So ideally, as a business, you want to find out what the problems are on this vehicle. So we can go through these questions and fill in any defect or any problems that we have against these vehicles, and then also finally to be able to even draw on your vehicle. So I know everyone's quite used to having your floor plans. However, you don't have to have a floor plan. What we can also have is a drawing of your vehicle where you can then zoom in and mark up, for example, if there's a problem with your wheel. Okay, if you are interested in further information on the vehicle audit or would like us to take you through a further demonstration, we are happy to provide one after our coffee morning. I think the final couple of templates we'd like to go through, as I'm keen on time, is a GDPR and our commitment. So ideally, quite a lot of clients will require their operatives or members of staff to sign off a commitment GDPR document to say that we understand the the legal rights and the GDPR, that any data that we take is data protected. We can add a GDPR statement if you have one as a business, and your operatives or admin members can sign off, and this will automatically fall into your admin system if you need to backtrack on this data of information. The final one I'd like to go through very quickly is the toolbox talks. So the toolbox talks from a health and safety point of view is great. You're able to add in any company RAMs that you have, which will probably change from site to site, which will shortly come up on your screen. So what we've done here, it's automatically picked up the location, the GPS reading of exactly where they are, and you can pick any videos, PDF or Word documents to be added into these RAMs, and the operatives on site can view this on their mobile phone, which I've opened up a PPE video, and this will take me through my video and we can view this. Okay, we then go to the sign off page. Your operative can then pick themselves, sign off, and the manager can sign off to say this is your toolbox talks completed.
Now you've navigated there really quickly, Chateau, and we just had a question from Andrew come in on the chat on YouTube, just asking a question about Toolbox Talks actually. So it's a good little seamless segue into that, Andrew. Thank you very much. So we currently deploy Toolbox Talks to operatives. Can the system collect Toolbox Talks responses and and provide them back into the system. So question and answers to operatives to ensure that they understand the content. So Shatu, are you able to just give us an answer on that one, please?
Yes, definitely. So as we said, this is just an example of a toolbox talk template we have. If you require further Q&A questions on there, we can get these added in depending on what you request. This will be something that we'll need to discuss with our technical team and raise a ticket for you on our new ticketing system.
So Andrew, hopefully that answered the question, but we will pick that up as part of the feedback forms as well and make sure that we clarify that information back out to you. We've got, I think, 4 minutes left, and within that 4 minutes, what I wanted to do is I'm going to keep an eye on the questions coming in on the chat. We've still got about 30 people currently watching us live at the moment. So I've just navigated back now to the demo system, and we are in the All Reports tab, which is sat within our Reports section within our demo system. And you'll see that we have a number of forms that we've completed today, or Shatu's been completing today, including the daily COVID form, which we'll go and have a look at while we're here. It seems to be the hot topic at the moment, obviously. We've all been affected by it. Again, you'll see that as a standard report through our system, always comes out with the key report information. What was the customer, the location, the form date, the status. We've got the summary information over on the right. Again, we've got the date, we've got that time which populates just by clicking that that clock function. I don't know about you, but that really does help me every morning. I just click the clock function and it automatically populates. I don't have to go and look at the time. You've also got your temperature in there, and you've got your responses. Now we can obviously create, in our usual way, a PDF version of that for our outputs, or we can keep it contained within the Boris system for auditability. We can obviously report against all of these daily COVID forms that are being completed on a daily basis. And it's the same whether we look at the commitment to GDPR, the toolbox talks, or in fact the usage policy. So let's just jump into that AMS and sign-in form, which was the slightly different way of clocking in and out. And as a refresher here, a lot of you are using the clocking in and out function within the app, but this is the step process that was introduced into the start of day to make sure that in order to release and open up the job pack, you were forced, or the operative was forced, to complete this AMS and sign in form, which included a clock in. So again, you've got those details up in the top left hand corner, the summary information over on the right. We then know that Shatu Wally completed the accept method statement and accepted it with a yes. They also then confirmed no site work conditions had changed and that the environmental conditions were the same. You've got obviously the time and date stamp against the signature there, and in fact we've still got the digital signature stored against this. We can access that immediately there. We've also got the location reading, the GPS stamp to prove where we signed out. And Shatu commenting on my long days earlier on with my 1 minute. She managed to do a 1 minute herself as well there. So, and we can see that we've got her signing out at 8:20. So hopefully there you can see that that's just a slightly different version of clocking in and out, but one that would hopefully benefit you massively, or benefit your teams in just being able to deliver this on a daily basis. Let's head back to all reports. Shatu, have we got any final questions? I'm conscious we've got 1 minute to go. So anything else come through the chat or via email?
Yes, I think it was one question which you covered, but we will go through and come back to you after the coffee morning. But one final question is Sage the only platform that we can work with your output on your clocking in and out?
Yeah, I thought we covered that actually, but no, if not, no, Sage is not the only platform. We can integrate with the vast majority of solutions that are out there. I'm going to touch wood at the moment there and just say that with a smile on my face, just to make sure we haven't actually received a solution that we can't integrate with at this moment in time. So please feel free to challenge us. But Sage is the primary platform that we're integrating to. If you have another requirement, please put it on the feedback form, and we'll pick up with you separately about it.
Just one last question on here, James, which is again related to the Sage. A client is asking, is there a cost associated for integration?
It really depends on the type of integration that we go down the route of, Shatu. When we say integration, it's very easy to throw out that word integration, and actually integration is through it takes many different guises. Integration can be a XML file that's been output out of the system in a format that we can drop into a directory, potentially run an auto pickup script against, which will be ingested into that other system. It could also be a real-time API integration.
Right.
Both of those have different development times and potentially different development costs. The output of an XML file in a format to suit your requirement would be included free of charge as a development from us as a team.
Yeah.
However, where we're looking to develop an API connection, which is a bi-directional real-time API connection and integration, there would be a development cost there associated with that.
Thank you very much for that, James.
Again, please just drop it on the feedback form. Let us investigate, and we can start those discussions with you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us once again. We will come back to you with a feedback form, and also we would like to take your ideas, as James explained, on our next coffee morning, and hopefully our plan for 2021. And we look forward to seeing you all on our next coffee morning.
Thanks everybody for your contribution this morning. Thanks for the great questions. We'll see you again in 6 weeks' time. Have a happy Christmas if we don't speak to you before, and a fantastic new year. It's goodbye from us.
Goodbye.